Welcome back to the Takeout. Senate's expected to vote next week. I'm not sure it's going to pass anything, but it's going to vote on legislation to extend Obamacare tax credits for 3 years. That is a Democratic maneuver. Here is Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer talking about it.
Republicans caused this problem. They knew this cliff was coming and would only make the pain worse for Americans, yet they've chosen to do nothing, absolutely nothing. They are nowhere. They don't even have a proposal.
I'm going to bring in our political panel, Democratic strategist Mariel Sáez, who served as director of broadcast media for the Biden administration, and Republican strategist Matt Gorman, friend of the show, served as senior advisor for Tim Scott's presidential campaign. All right, what he is referring to, Chuck Schumer, the cliff is these expire December 31st. And there doesn't seem to be a path, Matt, for Republicans to do anything about it.
Yeah. We caused this problem, yet they passed the law. They created the subsidies.
Meaning the Democrats.
Yes. And the Democrats created the cliff over the subsidies. But this is our problem. So glad Chuck and his...
Very quick reminder to the audience. Yep. These were not originally a part of Obamacare.
No.
They were added during COVID.
Yep.
Extended as a part of the Inflation Reduction Act. Mm-hmm. So the Democrats created them, set the expiration date of December 31st Correct. Of this year.
Yes, exactly. But, you know,
you're in charge, and the premiums will go up if they expire.
Under us, because it shows what a terrible law Obamacare is. But regardless, look, I don't think you're going to see much movement on this. Democrats are going to use this as a messaging exercise. Chuck Schumer, and what I believe would probably be his final Senate term, will try and push this through. But the real question is whether or not Trump feels the need to negotiate with Democrats on this at all. 3 years is a non-starter, maybe one. But again, Democrats own this.
Mariel, your perspective.
Look, Major, we're talking about healthcare increases that are not minuscule. We're talking about healthcare premiums going from $200 to $300 to $500, $600 per month. That's on top of rising utility costs, housing costs going up, grocery costs going up. And so Republicans have a choice. They can either continue to do nothing about the cost of living crisis that we're in right now, or they can vote with Democrats to extend these subsidies, bring down costs for healthcare, and ensure that 22 million Americans don't see that substantial increase.
Matt said 1 year. If that were presented as something the president would sign, do you think Democrats would go for that?
Look, Democrats have been fighting tooth and nail to get any extension of this done, right? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And Republicans have a choice. They control all levers of government. They, with their one big beautiful bill, they set up a situation. They had a choice then to extend. They chose not to.
But you know what I'm driving at.
And
if
there needs
Chuck
to be action.
Schumer agreed to a 1 year, would he face criticism from the progressive left for caving in?
Look, this needs to be addressed. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. The longer that we can give Americans certainty, the better. But right now, they're facing up to 600% increase in just a few weeks from now, and Republicans have done nothing.
Matt, you talked to a lot of folks around town who are close to the White House. Do you think 1 year is something that they're giving serious consideration to?
Only if Trump signs off on it, right? If this is something that percolates from, say, House moderates or the Problem Solvers Caucus, it'd be a lot harder to sell on the right flank of both the House and the Senate, and even the White House. It has to come top down.
I'm extremely displeased with the Supreme Court, not for anything it's ruled, but because it ruled last night on Texas redistricting after the show went off the air. Come on, hit send a little bit earlier, okay? That would help us. And essentially said the Texas redrawn map is okay because it is nakedly partisan. And the Supreme Court said nakedly partisan congressional redistricting constitutional.
Yes, exactly. And look.
So that means California should be okay, too.
I think what you're going to see is the differences.
Right, Mariel? She does not.
Look, I think Republicans have reconciled that you're going to get 5 for 5. Like, that's the trade that's going to happen. Now, look, the minutia on this is that how the actual California thing came about is what they're arguing. But regardless, in effect, it's going to be 5 in California.
And look, the California one went to the voters.
Exactly.
They approved it, so that should give it even more.
But that's not even actually what you're likely to see
protection legally
in the spring, I think, is there will be parts of the Voting Rights Act that will be struck down that will open up and unlock seats in the Deep South for Republicans, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and South Carolina.
That's separate from redistricting is so much more important to watch.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that, Mariel?
Yeah, of course. Look, what happened with the Texas redistricting ruling really fundamentally does two things. One, it allows Republicans to avoid accountability on this issue of affordability, right? They are running on a deeply unpopular agenda that is raising costs for Americans. And what Texas Republicans did was essentially redraw a map so that they don't have to be held accountable for what's happening in Congress and throughout the country on rising costs. Second, we're going to see Black and brown voters, whether it's in Texas or in other Republican states where redistricting, Trump is having his way with redistricting, who are going to be disenfranchised by these decisions. So it's deeply concerning, certainly, and I think you're going to see Democrats fight back, not just on the redistricting issue, but also running campaigns to hold those Republicans accountable.
Let's stay in Texas because our Ed O'Keefe, trusted colleague of ours, reports that Jasmine Crockett, member of the House, calling around, may jump into the Senate Democratic primary. Your response to that?
Look, I mean, she's a dynamic member. And so I think you're going to see a number of candidates really get into this race and put forward their best platform on taking on this administration, holding Trump accountable, and bringing down costs for Americans.
Matt, you were like this.
You won't endorse Jasmine, but I will. Run, Jasmine, run.
Why?
Because I'll be honest, it's a mess on our side. We have a very messy primary, 3 ways. Wesley Hunt just got in. I think he could emerge.
John Cornyn
as well, obviously the incumbent senator.
And the Attorney General.
Ken Paxton. Watch Wesley Hunt in that race. He could emerge if something happens to Cornyn or if Ken Paxton gets strong. But of course, a mess on our side, a mess on their side.
You want more Democrats in that race?
More the merrier, man.
Why?
Because Jasmine is absolutely unpalatable, even against the Ken Paxton in the state of Texas. Colin Alvarez won before. I'm surprised Beto doesn't get in. But Jasmine is palatably unpalatable.
All right, we're going to end on this. I don't know what to say about this. It was brought up on our 11 o'clock meeting. It's a picture of Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Show the picture. For some reason, control room, show the picture, please, if you have it. There it is. For some reason, that particular posture of the sitting governor of California has attracted endless online criticism and evaluation. Mariel, what?
Look, I think Republicans may be criticizing the way the governor's sitting because they're mad about what he had to say. I mean, he actually went into this Deal Book interview and made some really, really poignant points about the concentration of wealth in this country, income inequality, how farmers, small businesses, consumers are all getting the short end of the stick.
What does that mean?
He's talking his base, the Deal Book interview. But I don't know. How does an ankle move that way? It's all very questionable to me.
Questionable.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
That's all I got.
Okay. I don't understand it. I never will. Mariel, Sáez, Matt Gorman, thank you so much.